everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I am going to do a card for you today. I have a stack of stamp sets, and it's not a giant stack, but it's a stack of Christmas ones that I haven't gotten to yet. So I'm going to be on a little Christmas roll here, so keep checking back. And with all of them, I'm going to give you kind of another option, because I know a lot of you have already probably finished your Christmas cards, unless you're like me and you've hardly started. But that's what I have coming up for the next few days. Next week, early in the week, very early in the week, I will have some sneak peek items for you for the upcoming January catalog. And I will also have a catalog unboxing for you sometime next week as well. So next week, come back all the days and check and see if there's a new one. Or join my email list, and then you always know. So what I'm going to use today, how do we want to do this? So we'll do it this way. I'm going to use this stamp set, but one of the pieces that I'm going to use is one of our special promotions right now. And so this bundle will be in that January catalog, and I've done a couple of cards with it. I'm going to use this frame here. So this is part of the Fitting Florets collection. These are cards, so you can go, these are already on my site. So you can see these on my YouTube channel. All of those already have a tutorial. This card right here, for those of you in my card club, the 10th is the last day that you can add the Fitting Florets. And this month you can add, I have a essentials pack as well that has the embossing powder, because we will be doing some embossing on the cards like this one. This is their first card club project. If you're not sure what my card club is, then this video will kind of explain it, everything they're getting this month, and you'll see their first projects. But it is online. It's a subscription service. It's the cheapest thing that I do as far as online classes. You get it every month, and because of that reliability, I can talk factor, I'm able to keep the cost down, because I always know what's coming, and I can use a lot of the stuff that I purchased gets free stuff, so that gets all wrapped into it. So that's one of the things they're getting this month is they're getting a half a pack of this special edition paper. They're getting a full spool of this ribbon, and then they're also getting these special edition, they're called gold adhesive backed swirls, but I'm using these on today's card as well, so you can kind of see this. If you're not in card club, you can go have a look at the Fitting Florets collection and the pieces that are in it, because it is available in November. Then for this card, I am going to use the Joyful Flurry bundle. It's so much fun. It's got beautiful dies, beautiful stamps. I love the snowflakes. I am going to do a Christmas card, but it doesn't have to be a Christmas card. One, I'm using the It's a Season of Magic and Wonder stamp. So, you know, it can be a season of magic and wonder in, well, middle of January is kind of dull and dreary here, but you could send it and then put a happy birthday on the inside. You can, there's a Let It Snow. Again, it can just be a January, February card, especially for a birthday or a wedding. It'd be pretty for a winter wedding. And then it also has sending you all the best this new year. So if you're done with your Christmas cards, this is a good stamp set for you if you just want to keep crafting. So I am going to do, here's this. Let's do our embossing first. So I've been on an embossing kick. Heat embossing is the first thing that I fell in love with when I started stamping almost 30 years ago. And it was all I did for a while. I didn't even own any colored ink pads, not one. So all I owned was a clear ink pad. For this one, I'm going to use my Whisper White, because I'm using the gold foil. This is from the brushed gold, and you could do it on any of the golds. This is a great card that you could kind of use up some of your scraps of your foils on. But to make sure I don't waste the paper, I'm going to use my white stamp pad. You just have to use one that stays wet, and this can be slippery, so you want to just press down and press straight back up. But then, because it's white, I can see that I got everything on it before I start pouring things on and find out, oh, look at that, I didn't stamp well. I'm gonna do this in white. I thought about you could do it in gold, but I'm going to do it in white because, you know, snow and all. My hands are a little sticky. But this card, it doesn't matter if you have a little bit of mess on it, because we're going to take care of that at the end. Have that. Let's heat set that. Now I'm going to use a piece of the 6x6 paper. This is from the Light to Glow. It is beautiful cardstock. It comes in a bunch of different colors. A lot of them have, you can see this has snowflake and gold on it. It's black and the evergreen and succulent, and I think it's probably cherry. I don't have the red sitting here. But the nice thing about this pack and this card is you can mix and match. So I'm going to cut this for, I wanted to show you how I cut it because you're going to use this other piece. And then I'm going to do 5.5 because the paper's beautiful and evergreen cardstock is a pretty color, but it doesn't have to be like show the whole thing. So do this 5.5. And so there is our background paper, and then it leaves us this, and I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to use this side, but you could use, like you can mix and match if you're doing them other ones from this set as well. I'm just going to do the one, pull up my cut and emboss machine. Let's take another piece of the brushed gold cardstock. And I've just trimmed it out as a little piece of scrap, so I did it so it's that big. Put that there. And then there are several dies, and if you look in the catalog, you'll see them. They punch these beautiful snowflakes, but they don't punch them out. So that's one of the fun tricks on this card. Is I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to kind of shove it towards the top. You don't want your dies to overlap because they can cut each other. Then I just need a little piece of this. So just stare that because I didn't cut it. And you can see how many of these snowflakes you would be able to get from your little leftover strip of paper. Roll these through. It only took one roll. There's no dies on here that are super intricate, so it doesn't take any more than one pass. I have my heater on right now in the house. The furnace is on because it's morning, but it's going to get in the 70s today. Don't you just love that time of year when you're you start out and it's winter, and then by the afternoon it's late summer? Isn't that pretty? And we're going to do a little bit more with that in a second. And then we're going to take, there are some little shapes in the dies that go with the words, so they'll cut our words out that we just embossed. So this one takes the longer one. Just line that up on here. Sometimes when you've heat embossed, just roll it back the other way. You can use washi tape if you want, but see, now it's pretty flat. And this one fits on here with plenty of extra space. So it does this, and it has the fun stitching around the edges. So for this one, 2 reasons. The inside of our card is dark, so it makes it harder to sign unless you have a gel pen or something. But also because these stamps are beautiful, and I wanted you to see the snowflakes. So I cut a piece of white cardstock, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. And again, you could use all of the snowflakes, which probably if I was making these for my own cards, I would. But I just picked the biggest one. I'm going to just stamp a couple of snowflakes on the inside of my card, and then I pulled out Joyful Wishes. But if you're doing a birthday card, if you're going to do the New Year's card, Joyful Wishes actually goes for a lot. We don't have to have joy just at Christmas, right? So now we have a beautiful inside. If you are bored and you just want to make them super beautiful, then put some Stella on it. So that's the inside. Now this card is really easy to put together. I'm going to use Stamp and Seal, and you'll see why in a minute, because it's a more heavy duty adhesive, and it will hold in just a second when we heat one more time. I have this on here. Now you can see this. You don't have to pop it out. If you are gentle with it, it wouldn't fall out, but I want mine to be in 2 different layers. I'm going to kind of play with this part. So flip this over. You can see how they cut through, and then just kind of pop they will pop out to here. I don't want mine to pop that much. I just want to give it a little bit of lift. So I'm just doing those edges, and then I'll go around one more time so I kind of get a tiny bit further down, but I don't want all the way down. And that's how this stamp set is designed. So if you have it and you thought you haven't been able to make it work, this is how it works. So it's just adding that fun cut and embossed. It's cut, but it doesn't cut. It's partly cut. It's not cut all the way out. I'm going to take my Seal Plus, which comes out in tiny little strips. If you don't have one yet, then you'd see it. They come out kind of like in little strips. A long time ago, we had, I don't even remember what it was called, Hermafix, I think. And it did a similar thing. So I just put one on all 4 sides. Add this to here. And then the nice thing is, like this one right here is kind of going out. I can fold it back under. Now, if you have a problem with your seal or plus, or even with your seal, and sometimes it backs up on itself, one, you're probably pushing too hard on your paper. I've never had it happen to me ever. But I know lots of my team does, and I know some of my customers do. Once it starts, like if you see that it's not sticking to the paper, or you see there's paper in there, stop, because you're just making it worse. Roll it out. Otherwise, it just starts. This is so sticky, both the Seal Plus and the seal, that it starts grabbing itself. And that's what pulls it, because it's pulling back on here and there's still adhesive because it's not on your paper. So that's just a little tip, but don't keep going if it's not working. Stop. I'm going to I have some dimensionals here that have seen better days, but nobody's going to see them because they're going to be on the back of here. So I'm going to add them in 2 places. I'm going to add down there where we didn't cut, and then right here in the middle of that snowflake. That way all of these lift places won't get stuck. And then just add this back to the middle. There's some steps on here if your husband, sometimes my husband likes to help make Christmas cards, or your boyfriend or your older kids. There's several parts of this that they could help with. Now I'm going to take some evergreen ribbon, but we're not going to attach it just yet. So once upon a time, we used to melt ribbon all the time. Not really melt it, but heat it, and it would curl up. This one looks really pretty when it curls because I did it, and then I had to take my card apart because I did it attached to the card. But it turns a little black. I didn't want black ribbon. And it's not black, but it's not green anymore because this is already a dark green. So just kind of get that tight. You don't want a giant bow, but you want the center to stay kind of tight. Trim that. And then for this, we're going to get placement because we want our tag to be on here. So I'm going to put it right here. For this, I'm just going to add a little bit of seal of the plus. You could use either, but we're going to use the Seal Plus in a minute to put that ribbon on there. So I'm going to put this on here. And I want to be able to take that off in a minute and put my ribbon back underneath it. I'm going to grab my snowflakes and put one up here. Now you could skip this step if you want to skip this step, but it does add some fun texture to your card. Put that one there. So I'm going to take the Snowfall Accent Puff Paint. It's super wet. And there's a lot of ways you can use it. This is one that I've done several times recently, and I just really like doing it this way. You can use your silicone matte, but if you have one of these dimensional things here that has most of the dimensionals gone, then you have a nice slippery background and you can work with that. And then this is a really old Stella. It's completely empty, but I save it to use for the brush. So just grab this out, kind of lift up, and then you're just gonna kind of tap. And you want some snow, but you don't want a blizzard. However, if you have places on this part of your card where you embossed and there is white and there shouldn't be, you can use this to kind of gently cover it up. So get a pretty liberal amount on here. You can use something to hit it. I can't use my bone folder because I have a super busy stamp weekend coming up and I've started packing my stuff. So this kind of uses stuff that I haven't packed yet or I'm not taking with me. And my bone folder's packed. There, that's working a little better than my finger. The bone folder almost gets too much of it. This, I would not let your kids help with because your cards might look like they have a blizzard. That's good. And I've had this thing for 2 years. And so don't worry that you put stuff there and you didn't use it. And this is the brush that I keep using over and over. As long as you stick this back in here, then it doesn't dry hard on there. If you think it might be a while till you go back to this, just take a wet wipe or something and wipe it off. Now you're going to take your heat tool and you're going to get it nice and hot. And you're just going to heat this. You don't have to heat it all. It will eventually dry, but this does puff it up and you'll see it a lot better. This is also why I use the Seal Plus, because it's stickier and it's not going to fall off the card as it gets heated. You don't have to get every last bit of it. Once it is cooled off, it's hard, so you can press on it. I'm going to take this piece back off. And remember, I just put a little piece of adhesive on there. So I wanted the snow to kind of land where it was going to land. Take my Seal Plus. This time I liked the green and I liked kind of the free fall of it, so I didn't wrap it around, which is usually my go-to. And then let's put our Seal Plus on here. And I do have some on a little bit of that ribbon. This one I think I can kind of, grab in there. And that way you can kind of angle this, and the Seal Plus will hold the ribbon on nicely. Stick this on here. Kind of looks like it has the dimensional, but it doesn't. But the ribbon's kind of popping it up. Come over here and give it one little piece here. You can trim that off if you want. And I'm going to take my gold swirled back adhesive, gold adhesive back swirls. I knew they were something like that. And I'm going to use 3 of them. Put one right here in the center of your snowflake. And then on the other centers of your snowflakes. So if you've added more, the green glimmer paper that's in this suite would be super pretty in snowflakes. It's on back order right now, and so I didn't want to have any of you think that you had to have it on your card. But if you already have some, if you bought it already, it would work perfectly. Super simple. A pretty card. It could be a wedding card. You can use all of the colors in the Lights Aglow. You can do weddings. You can do birthdays. You can do New Year's. Or if you're like me and you haven't, I've started my Christmas cards, but I haven't made very much progress. I've got too much going on. Oh, we forgot this. So just open this, pop it in. The other thing I like about the Seal Plus when you're doing a lot of cards in bulk is that it takes so little. Like that will hold this in here nicely. There we go. Now we're done. I wondered why this one was so much heavier than my other one, but that's fine. That's what I have for you. Keep checking back. I promise I will get some more Christmas, except for next week. It's going to be like, do I show you new stuff? I know you want to see new stuff, and I'll throw some Christmas in as well. So check back every day. And next week, I'll probably do an email a day as well to give you a few more ideas, because I'll have a bunch of pictures after my event this weekend. Everybody have a great one. Bye.